Mondays. He is Jalen Rose, and I'm David Jacoby. We are Jalen and Jacoby.
Dog?
What exactly is it that we
get
do?
the people what they want.
Friend of the show, CC Sabathia, joins us later, but we start with a big game last night between the Sixers and the Bucks, and it was Giannis Antetokounmpo who again showed out and showed us who he is. Jalen, he is having an MVP caliber season, but no one's talking about it. Why not?
I got to tell you a secret, Jacoby.
What's that?
When you look at Giannis' productivity this season versus the last 2 years where he actually won the MVP, they're comparable.
Mm-hmm.
And the assist numbers are actually up. The triple-double numbers are actually up. But here's what happens when you're the back-to-back MVP like Nash in Phoenix or LeBron in Cleveland and you don't make it to the NBA Finals. Now we're waiting for the playoffs. And when the Raptors and the Heat win the East, and we're still waiting for the Bucks and the Sixers to do so, Joel gets the regular season storyline in the MVP conversation with those numbers. For Giannis, people are like, wait a minute, we need to see it in the playoffs. But let me tell you something, Jacoby. I was watching the start of this game.
Me too.
And the Bucks, with Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, they're starting to gain their momentum. And all of a sudden, I thought I was watching the Kansas City Chiefs. They were in fast forward. They were getting buckets after bucket, after steal, after three. And I know they were without Ben Simmons with the Sixers, but I'm like, wait a minute. The Bucks are going to be a problem. That's why I tell you, the Nets have the most talent, but I'm taking the field in the East.
Well, we will see about the health of the Nets, but one thing that's key to the Bucks' success is Drew Holiday. When he's playing well, he's been in and out of the lineup, and when he's gone, they need him. And when he's there, they need him to play well. But I think that will be the key to their success in the playoffs. We know we're going to get from Giannis. We know we're going to get from Middleton. If Drew Holiday can be the Drew Holiday that they traded for, this team's going to be very dangerous in the playoffs. And when you take a look at the Western Conference, there's another team that looks to be dangerous in the playoffs that added another piece, and that is the Los Angeles Lakers. They lost to the Mavs last night, but a gentleman by the name of Anthony Davis came back and played. Jalen, what do you think about the return of Anthony Davis?
It was just great to see him back out on the floor. I didn't have high expectations. They said he was going to play maximum 15 minutes, didn't have double-figure points. They didn't win the game. Kyle Kuzma didn't have double-figure points as well. So really it was just about him being in uniform. The Lakers did a great job of really holding it down without he and LeBron in the lineup. They didn't drop so far in the Western Conference standings. So it's a breath of fresh air to have them back into the lineup. KCP did play well, but the Mavs, even though they lost KP under Luka, made sure they took care of business.
I'm glad you mentioned the Western Conference playoffs because when you look at the standings, something just became very clear to me today. I just saw through it all. The only thing that's up for grabs is 2-3 right now. Everything else is pretty much locked in 1 through 6. When you talk about the 6 guaranteed playoff spot, everything's locked in except for the 2-3, and the Clippers are playing well. So I would say that 1, 4, 5, 6 are going to stay that way when you look at the gaps between these teams. And it's going to be between the Suns and the Clippers of who gets the 2 seed moving forward as we get into the playoffs and the play-in game. One thing that did happen last night is Kristaps Porzingis got injured. Again, staying on the court has been a problem for him. When you talk about the Mavs and them getting a play-in game or a playoff run, how important is Kristaps' health to that?
Man, I hate to see it because having Kristaps in the lineup gives Luka a legit running partner that could get them out of the first round. Watching him continue to deal with injury, they might be a team that struggles during the play-in. And if they are able to get in, definitely will be probably losing in the first round. And that's unfortunate because when you look at the competition in the Western Conference, Luka's been terrific, ascending into a superstar and an all-NBA performer. But when you look at those other teams, Dame has CJ. They hope to get some big minutes from Nurkic. Even Memphis, they got Jaren Jackson back. The Lakers have LeBron and AD. The Nuggets, Jokic is MVP. They added Gordon. So, like, those other teams have support staff that are all NBA all-star caliber. The Mavs don't have that in particular without Kristaps Porzingis in the lineup.
They definitely need Kristaps Porzingis, and for them to be truly successful, for them to get the 7 seed or the 8 seed, they're going to need someone else besides Luka Doncic to get it done. We always say on this show, success is a function of realistic expectations, and the Mavs have performed below expectations up to this point. Now we turn our eyes to football. The NFL draft is upon us. The new season is going to be upon us after the summer. And there's going to be some changes in the NFL. One of those is the numbers on the jerseys. They sort of opened it up so you can have whatever number you want. And Tom Brady is upset about this. Tom Brady feels like that we're not going to be able to block the right people now. Jalen, why is Tom Brady mad about this of all things?
Jacoby, you remember when Last Dance came out and Michael Jordan made spitting on his pizza sexy, and everybody was like, it was just his killer instinct, and that's why he's the 6-time champion, and that's just why he refuses to lose. Now people are going to be like, Tom Brady, he's going to go against the league, and he's going to be so upset that they changed this rule. Oh, man, the game is in trouble. This just motivated Tom Brady. It just creates a storyline for my fellow Michigander, that's all. My fellow Michigan Wolverine, that's all.
This does feel like a story about nothing, and so does our next story, because Jerry Jones says that he has visions of sugar plums about pairing Kyle Pitts with Dak Prescott. Did anyone tell Jerry Jones that he picks 10th and Kyle Pitts is going to be picked way before that?
We got to get Kyle Pitts to come on the show and talk about that. Here's why. This is all cap. C-A-P. No accident that Michael Irvin is doing a multimedia tour today. It's no accident that Jerry Jones is talking today. It's just so we'll talk about their team. We don't force topics about the Cowboys. So other than this, we wouldn't be talking about them. Other shows chase these topics. So Jerry Jones, good job. You got us talking about a player that we know that you're not going to draft.
Well, all of us spend a lot of time on social media, and from time to time, it gets socially awkward. Kevin Durant he's an open book on social media. He'll like things, he'll respond to things, but one of the tweets that he liked intimated that Steph Curry needed Kevin Durant to win a championship and then called him trash. Kevin Durant liked it. What does that mean to you, Mr. Rose?
It just means they're going to always respect each other as teammates and champions and what they accomplished together. But I wouldn't like a comment like this about you. So that means that they're going to be former teammates, but don't necessarily have to be cool, which is okay, which is just fine. What they accomplished can never be taken away from them. But I was surprised to see KD did like this tweet.
Kevin Durant has sneakily become the best follow on social media. We used to clown him so much for having a burner account and for being too sensitive and responding to everything. But now I love it. Now I love it so much. I want him to respond to everybody, to like every tweet. He knows we're going to talk about it. Like, we used to troll him, and now he's trolling us. Great job by Kevin Durant completely flipping the narrative with his social media use. I appreciate it.
You're exactly right. Well said.
We have joining us right after a short break, CC Sabathia, Yankee legend, Pier 17 in the South Street Seaport District of Manhattan, and brought to you by Chase. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Joining us on the program right now, friend of the show, Yankee legend CC Sabathia. Thank you so much for taking the time.
No problem. What's going on, fellas?
I want to know what's going on with your New York Yankees, because so far they've been trash this season. What's going on in the Bronx?
It's early, man. It's cold, man. It's hard to play baseball in the cold weather. I think, as the weather starts to heat up, the bats will start to heat up, and, I think the guys will be fine. I think the key to the team is going to be the pitching and defense. That seems to be what everybody's talking about. I think they'll get better with that. I still think they're the best team in the division, but it's early. So, we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. But they got a really good team. It's hard for me to think that they're going to play like this all year.
27 pennants, storied franchise. Jacoby always says you could be mean when you're funny. What do you think about Yankee fans throwing baseballs at their team earlier in the year?
Man, that was tough. That was hard to watch, even as an ex-Yankee still to be a part of the organization. I mean, that's tough. Obviously getting booed at home and them throwing baseballs out on the field, you want that to be your safe place. If you're getting booed at home, you'd be getting doubly booed on the road. So, you just got to play better and they'll stop it.
So, CeCe, I am what's called a die easy fan. I jump on bandwagons whenever I feel like it. And something tells me that you did the same thing because I've been paying attention and you are now a Nets fan. How did you become a Nets fan?
You know what? Because I just jump on bandwagons. I'm such a huge Raiders fan. I'm such a huge Raiders fan that I need something to root for. Like, my heart's broken most of the time by December. Most of the time by Thanksgiving, my heart's broken. So I need some good basketball to root for. Also, I always hop on the best basketball team. Right now it's the Nets, but the Knicks are looking good too. So I've been going to a lot of Knicks games too. You know, Uncle Wes is over there in Leon, so they're doing a good job with the Knicks. So it's just New York basketball right now. I'm rooting for it.
Absolutely, and there may be a chance that you get a Knicks-Nets second round NBA playoff series. What would that mean for the city of New York?
You know what? That'd be crazy just because we all know that this is a basketball town. I mean, you know, the city is you know, Yankees and Mets right now. But I think, you know, if when the basketball comes back, it's going to be Nets and Knicks. I mean, obviously, you know, this is the basketball mecca. So to have both of their teams in the playoffs facing off against each other, I think it'll just make for the buzz in the city that hasn't been here since I've been here. You know, hasn't been around since I've been here in 12 years.
Well, there's two good basketball teams in New York City, but there's also two terrible football teams in New York City, and one of those are the New York Jets. It looks like they're going to draft Zach Wilson. So yourself, you saw success here. You dealt with the media here. What advice would you have for Zach Wilson if he were to be drafted by the Jets?
I think just to come in and be yourself. You know, it's tough trying to come in and, you know, deal with the media and try to play well at the same time. But if you just come in and be yourself, play hard, and don't make excuses, these fans in this town will love you.
You've seen some of the all-time greats, not only because you're one, but you've pitched against some of the all-time greats. Barry Bonds, you've seen Derek Jeter, but you've said Shohei Ohtani is the most dynamic baseball player that you've ever seen. Is that true?
Ever. Like, you just named those two guys that are probably, I mean, first ballot Hall of Famers, right? But neither one of them can win a Cy Young. Like, this guy can do what they can do, and he can go out and win a Cy Young. Like, he's got the hardest hit home run this year, and he's throwing the fastest pitch off the mound. Like, people get upset when I say that and start naming all these other players. And, yeah, I know Mike Trout's on his team, but, like, nobody can do what this kid can do. It's really unbelievable. I've never seen anybody that can dominate. We watch people that can play like this in Little League. Like, you can name a dude that's in Little League that was this good, right? We all know that guy, but for him to do it in the big leagues, it's amazing, man. It's just fun to watch.
That's a great point. And CeCe, you know, you are a legendary pitcher in the MLB, and you are now part of sports media and media in general, but you're getting into the fashion game. Tell us about your foray into fashion.
Yeah, it's been fun. Getting a chance to partner up with Roots of Fight. I had my line come out with them, you know, on 420 a couple days ago. We did the Black Aces sweatsuit. We did a New York T-shirt, and then we paid homage to my hometown, which is Vallejo, California, and the neighborhood I'm from is called the Crest. You know, so I really wanted to pay homage to my neighborhood and where I came from, and Roots of Fight does a great job of telling those stories. So I was just excited that we were able to partner up and come out with some pretty cool pieces.
They do. I'm a huge fan of Roots of Fight. I've rocked their gear for years. How important was it for you to partner with a brand that was going to still be able to tell the story of things that you want to get out there to the public?
Yeah, that was super important. Just being able to go back and tell, like, my lineage, you know, the history of, you know, where I came from. And, you know, obviously coming off the dock, and then I got the book coming out. It just seemed perfect to be able to put this in right in between both of those projects that are coming out, you know, just to continue to tell my story. So, yeah, I was super excited. And like you said, I mean, they do such a great job of telling the stories. You know, we partnered with them last year and got the Negro League line started, and people really loved that. You know, and then Satchel Paige, and now they got Don Newcomb coming. So it's just been fun to be able to tell some of these cool stories with a really dope brand.
We had Action Bronson on the show last week, and he credited you with sort of some of his transformation, getting in the gym in New Jersey early in the morning, and you yourself have sort of transformed your body a little bit. So tell us about your weight loss and your body transformation.
Yeah, so there was something that me and Action started talking about a couple years ago. You know, when I got done playing, I wanted to, change my body and put muscle on. I lost a bunch of weight in 2013, and it didn't work. I got down to 260, but I feel like I needed to put some muscle on. So this was always my plan. And, people are always like, it's great what you and Action are doing, but me and him are really just really good friends, man, and we really enjoy working out together. He's a great motivator. Like, I just left the gym working out with him right now. So, we work out 3 days a week together. It's been a lot of fun to watch him. He's down 170 pounds, man. So, like, he's just so inspirational. Every time he walks into the gym, he just gets you hyped and ready to work out.
How much confidence does that give people when they see you, whether it's on social media and in person, that motivates them to make sacrifices in their lives because they see you're doing it?
Yeah, I mean, that was both of our goals, Obviously, us being, extra big, we just feel like if we can do it, anybody can do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we started from literally zero. Action was almost 400 pounds. I was 325, and, now a year later, we looking pretty good. So, and want to keep going. So it's just, it's been fun to do this transformation. And like you said, hopefully people can watch and see us do this and get motivated to make the transformation themselves.
Well, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us on the program. Thank you, CC.
Appreciate you, legend.
We'll be back with much around here: baseball, basketball, football, the fight game. But we have some very important news that matters. I have accepted the reality, the objective reality, that there are unidentified flying objects in the Earth's atmosphere, and I have more information to present to you. Commercial airline pilots in Canada have seen multiple unidentified flying objects during their flights just in the last few weeks. Jalen, are you finally ready to admit that aliens are in our atmosphere?
The plane. E.T. Phone home. Mork from Ork.
Oh, no.
Nanu.
No. Whenever you go to Mork from Ork, I know you're not taking this seriously. You will take it seriously when the aliens finally invade, and I hope they start with you.
You said Jalen, that about the kangaroo apocalypse. I'm still waiting.
We have to move on to the Oscars. The Best Picture nominees have been announced, and I have a confession to make. I haven't seen a single one of these nominees. I haven't seen a single one of the Best Picture nominees this year in the Oscars. Have you?
This is easy. I didn't see the nominees, so therefore I don't even know if I've seen them, because a lot of these awards are culturally biased and based. That's another subject for another day. And if you have a background like this, you may never get an award. My Best Picture this year, Judas and the Black Messiah. Shout out to my guy, L.G. Smith.
You didn't see the Tom and Jerry movie. You didn't see Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry, if Tom and Jerry doesn't win Best Picture, I'm not watching another Oscar celebration for the rest of my life. Shout to Tom and Jerry, the second best duo on television behind Jalen Jacoby.
There hasn't been a podcast that walk into an office and say they don't want it to be like this. That's the award.
Jalen, as we end the show, one thing we have to do is recognize the life and celebrate two young men that passed away, Shock G of Digital Underground, and, of course, Terrence Clark, former Kentucky Wildcat who was headed to the NBA draft, who passed away to a car accident in Los Angeles. Jalen, what do you have to say about these two young men's lives?
Sadly gone and not forgotten. Shock G, for me, was a hip-hop version of Prince. He was an artist. He played instruments. He was an entertainer. For years, people didn't know that Humpty Hump and Shock G were actually the same person. I got a chance to spend time around them. Shout out to my brother Money B. Shout out to Clee. They welcomed me and treated me like family. And so rest in peace, Shock G.
And also Terrence Clark, rest in peace. And everyone be safe.